did Reddit just solve this season's killer on True Detective? And is there someone at HBO who has purposely leaked this information? A word of warning, as of the writing of this video, I have not seen the upcoming episode, so everything here is purely speculative and could easily be disproven next episode. But I did find this quite compelling, so I had to share it with you and offer my own insights. If you do like this video, be sure to check out my full episode breakdowns where we become detectives ourselves trying to figure out what's really going on in Ennis. Now this theory comes to us from Reddit user 4RustyBrain, and a quick look at their profile reveals something rather interesting. It looks as though this is a burner account created specifically for this post, as it was created January 29th, 2024, the same day this theory was posted. Other than one response to the theory, the account has been silent. Also, the username might be a nod to Season 1's Rust Cole. Whoever this person is, I get the feeling they want to remain anonymous. The theory goes like this, and hear me out because at first it seems a little bit far-fetched, but when you start piecing together the clues, it starts to make more sense. Navarro has a dormant alter ego or split personality. In episode 4, we see her go into these trance-like states, a state Liz observes also happened the day they confronted William Wheeler.
Stop it! Stop it! Alright, you're doing the thing that you did with Wheeler.
This would imply that it was Navarro who killed Wheeler, perhaps as her alter ego took over, and Liz helped cover it up to make it look like a murder-suicide. I want you to take a look at these images. The left is from episode 3, in which Liz recounts the Wheeler story to Peter, one which is likely a lie because she says Wheeler was dead when they got there, but he clearly wasn't. The image on the right is from episode 4, in which Liz is concerned that Navarro is seeing some sort of ghost or spirit while at Wheeler's. If I were to guess who shot and killed Wheeler, I'm gonna go with the one who is seeing visions. Then again, there is the possibility Wheeler lunges at Navarro, noticing that she's in this trance, and Liz shoots him in defense, but my money is currently on Navarro. Navarro goes on to call these voices she hears the family curse, something that happened to both her sister and mother, while at the dredges we can even hear a female voice calling out Navarro's name. And this isn't just any voice, but that of the Inuit goddess Sedna, a mythical being that was hinted at in episode 1. This picture that Darwin drew shows what Kalo refers to as a local legend of a woman whose fingers have been cut off. In the myth of Sedna, Sedna has her fingers cut off by her father as she clings to a canoe before falling into the ocean, where she becomes ruler of the underworld. In Navarro's first scene, we see her helping a woman who has her fingers cut off. Now I went and searched the actress who plays the fingerless woman, and she has all of her fingers, so the decision to have some of her fingers removed was a very conscious one by the creators. Pulling off the fingerless effect requires hours of prosthetics or green screen and just adds another layer of complexity to the shot, so there must have been a reason to go through the trouble of including it. When asked about who she prays to, Navarro says she doesn't pray to anyone, rather she listens, something a god would do. Now Sedna is known to be the ruler of the underworld, and Navarro just so happens to be haunted by the dead. These include her mother, William Wheeler's girlfriend, and Anders Lund, all of whom point at her in the same creepy manner. Lund even passes on a message that her mother is waiting for her, likely in hell. According to Navarro, her mother was murdered, but the murderer was never found. Was Navarro the one to kill her, that being the first time this alter ego manifested? The myth goes on to explain that Sedna was mistreated by her parents and orphaned. We don't know much about Navarro's father, and Navarro had to take care of her little sister after the death of her mother. An alter ego would also explain how her mother's necklace somehow got in the car the night she almost drove into a truck. How did it get there? Sedna is also known to control animals. In episode 1, we saw these caribou leap over the edge, and the owner of the crab company states that their usual crab spots are turning up empty. Sedna lives under the sea, and what kind of toothbrush does she love?
SpongeBob?
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
We know Navarro has this thing about protecting women.
Navarro's obsessed with the case. She's got this thing about women who get hurt.
especially protecting women from abusive men. This lines up with the Sedna myth, whose father cut off her fingers after she refused to marry any of the men found for her and instead marries a dog. Navarro's best friend is Eddie Kavik, whose first name means good friend in Old English and last name means wolf in Inuit. So you could make the argument that Eddie is Navarro's good wolf friend. In her hallucinations, Navarro also sees Holden's pajamas covered in dogs. Speaking of wolves, the first time we see Rose, she's skinning a wolf. Sedna is worshipped by hunters. Navarro doesn't know her Inupiaq name, her mother never told her, but maybe her alter ego knows, and it will be revealed that it's Sedna or one of several other names this goddess has gone by over the centuries. Sedna is known to be a vengeful goddess. Navarro is quick to violence. We see this in episode 1 and her wrath against the men in episode 4. But how did this alter ego manifest? It may have something to do with the trauma Navarro endured growing up with a mentally ill mother, or even what she experienced when she was a soldier. This aspect of her life is something she never talks about, and we've only seen bits and pieces of it. When Navarro sees a soldier with half her head blown off, it could be a metaphor for Navarro only being in control of half her mind, the other half belonging to this alter ego. It can be inferred that her alter ego then becomes a defense mechanism to protect her from the pain and trauma of the outside world. I also want to talk about these spirals found in Raymond Clark's notes. They're accompanied with the words eyes, but what if they're not supposed to be eyes at all? Take a look at this image here. Looks a lot like those spirals, but it's actually the orbit of a small body on the edge of our solar system called, you guessed it, Sedna, which at the time of its discovery in 2003 was the furthest known object away from our sun. In the True Detective podcast, Jodie Foster even says that this season is all about Navarro's journey and that Liz is only there to support it.
She was the character that was supporting Kaylee's character.
Navarro's childhood also mimics an old Inuit folktale called The Boy from the Bottom of the Sea Who Frightened the People of the House to Death. It tells the story of a mother who ran away from an abusive husband and built a house at the bottom of the sea where she gave birth to a child. This child would grow up and scare the villagers, frightening them to death. And I can't help but think of those Salal scientists who looked absolutely petrified when their bodies were found. Both Lund and Raymond Clark talk about a woman having been woken up, which may be a nod to Navarro's alter ego waking up. In an interview with Vanity Fair, showrunner Issa Lopez is quoted as saying that, unlike season 1, where the killer is rarely seen until the second last episode, the character or characters that, quote, committed the deed are right there in front of you through the entire series. Now, there's also a world where Navarro is Sedna, but not the killer. Why would she kill all these scientists? I mean, I could see her wanting to kill Raymond if she believed he was Annie's murderer. I think a truly shocking reveal would be if it was Navarro who killed Annie, but she didn't know it. It was her alter ego that did it. Remember that Navarro somehow knew it was Annie's tongue found at Salal, and Darwin's picture of Sedna shows her eyes crossed with what look like stars. Annie's body was said to have star-shaped wounds. Shout out to the Bingetown TV podcast who theorized these wounds may have been caused by ice cleats, which would explain the 32 stabs. One kick would create multiple incisions, and we do know that Annie K was kicked after she died.
Forensics showed that someone kicked her after they dumped her dead body, Liz.
As of episode 4, there's only been one character shown wearing these cleats, and that's Eddie Kavik while out ice fishing. But look to the left here and we'll see Navarro's black boots. This is interesting because in the season 1 teaser trailer, you'll see a person with black boots wearing these cleats. But to be fair, lots of people in Alaska have black boots and cleats. We'll also see Peter on the ice with cleats, but he has brown boots. Cleats can also be found in Oliver Tagak's cabin, but he has different boots as well. Regardless, this is yet another tiny clue that Navarro may have been involved in Annie's killing. While this theory doesn't explain everything, it's one of the more compelling ones I've seen out there. But what do you think? Is Navarro experiencing some sort of dissociative disorder, or is this theory about as believable as an orange in the tundra? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.